The views and content expressed on the following program are provided solely for informational and entertainment purposes. They do not constitute legal advice. A podcast is not a substitute for retaining a competent, licensed attorney to advise you on your specific legal situation.
Break the business, play is work and work is play. Power in the creators, have fun along the way. Break the business, doing what it takes. Celebrate success and learn from the mistakes.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show. It is time for Break the Business, where we empower indie creators and have some fun along the way. I'm Ryan Kairalla, and it is a pleasure to have you here this week. Man, it's a pleasure, because we got a great show. We got so much fantastic stuff, and you're going to get it all delivered to you by an incredibly sleep-deprived new dad who's got carpal tunnel from changing diapers all day. Man, it's great to be here with you. Let me, Producer Lauren, let's just pop in here real quick. Let's chat. Let's talk.
Sure. How you doing, Ryan?
I am doing so well. It is lovely to be chatting with you, Lauren. I have heard through the grapevine, a little birdie told me, and that birdie was you before the show started, told me that you're going to be going to Halloween Horror Nights. Is that this weekend you're doing that?
Yep, this is opening weekend of Halloween Horror Nights. That's why it's so early.
It is. I guess it is kind of, the Halloween creep is real. I gotta say, for the non-Floridians, or at least non-Southeasterners out there, this is Universal Studios in Orlando turned into like a giant haunted house. And
There's like a lot of haunted houses.
Yeah, it's like multiple haunted. The whole park is haunted. But I will say, you're braver than I. I have done the Halloween Horror Nights. I don't think I will ever go back.
Really?
Because, all right, here's the thing. Because I know, as I said, that I can already hear the viewers and listeners like snickering, like, "Oh, what a wuss! Oh, big tough guy. He's definitely going to raise a tough son because he's afraid of, a bunch of fake characters, or scaracters, as you called them earlier."
Yes, they're scary
in a theme park. But let me tell you something, all right? Lest you people come down on me for being a big old fraidy cat. Two things. First of all, I'm a grown man. I don't need like anybody's validation. Like, I'm a fraidy cat. Who cares? Secondly, and this is an important point, and this is something that people in my demographic will understand, okay? Not all participants in Halloween Horror Nights, or really any haunted house experience, are treated the same, okay? If we're going to take all the different kinds of demographics that go into a haunted something, okay? Little children, you're not going to scare the crap out of little children. You don't want to make a little child cry. Generally, and it's sexist, but it's the way it is, I think you don't come down on women at these parks as much as you do the guys, because you don't want to make women cry. But old adult men, we get the brunt of it, especially when I went. Because when I went with my girlfriend at the time, and those people, those bastards at these theme parks, they love nothing more than to scare the crap out of a guy that has his girlfriend next to him. Like, oh, there's somebody we can totally, make look bad in front of his girlfriend. Chainsaw.
No.
And so, yeah, I get like the scary dudes with the chainsaw, and I know there's no chain on the saw. You don't have to worry. It's the sound, man, and they come behind you, and it's scary.
Yeah, and they're not allowed to touch you, which everybody's like, "Oh, they jumped out and attacked me." I'm like, no one has ever touched you at one of these parks. They can't do it. Though I did hear they tend to target you. Keep telling that exactly. They tell you, they target the people who they've seen reacting, right? So they're all staking it out. And if they get a reaction out of someone, they're all honing in on that person, because they're like, ooh, this is going to be a good one. So if you've got a girl that squeals, or, like, those people are getting attacked all night, and you'll hear it.
But that's me. I'm a squealer. I'm an emotional cat. I'm still getting people making fun of me on Twitter for how completely unreasonably worked up I got when Martin Mayer last week got me to sing the song on the show, and I was like, no, I don't want to do it. And I got made fun of, because like, that's who I am. I'm an animated person, and that's the person you want doing this podcast. So don't make fun of me if I get scared by the fake chainsaw guy at Halloween Horror Nights. No, that's all I'm saying.
I like walking around behind those people. Like the person that I'm going with, he's the best person to go into one of these places with because he's a true fan. Like, not only does he know everything, but there's this combo of fear than pure enjoyment. So you'll get this like, ah! I'm like, what was that? So I'll like walk the entire park with this like terror. This is awesome. And I was like, oh my God, I'm just gonna watch you the entire night.
Can you give me that sound again of the fright plus laughter? I need a bottle.
Yeah.
Okay, I might go with that person. That seems like a fun person to go to a haunted house
So
with.
much fun. Like, I go in and look at the scenic design and the costumes, and I'm totally the person who takes all the fun out of something like Horror Nights, but I get to enjoy it vicariously through someone like that, and I'm like, oh, this is why they build it. I get it now.
Lauren, this week's show,
Okay.
before at least for this first segment, is a show of callbacks. We have a lot of callbacks that we wanted to bring up from prior shows before we get to our guest, who in the next segment is going to be popping in. Jeff Hilliard, a terrific comedian, makes a great musician, makes these really cool, really ambitious comedic music videos, kind of like rivaling like Al Yankovic in terms of the production value of these things. And we're going to be talking to him in the next segment about how he puts these cool videos together and how they're so well done and how the songs are so great. So stick around for that. Speaking of Al Yankovic, he's on my mind right now, Lauren, because
When is he not, Ryan?
That's so true, actually. But one of our first callbacks that I want to talk about is a few months ago on the podcast, we had first announced that Roku was going to be releasing the Weird Al Yankovic biopic starring Daniel Radcliffe. And for a while, all that we had was a poster of the movie. But now, finally, we've been given the trailer to, what's it called? Weird: The Al Yankovic Story. And frankly, if your biopic doesn't have a colon in it, I think there's something wrong with you. It's got to have the colon. And this one does. Weird: The Al Yankovic Story. We can tell from the trailer. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you check it out. It's clear that this isn't going to be a dutiful, true-to-life biopic of Al Yankovic. It's much like most of the things Al Yankovic does. It is a parody. And Daniel Radcliffe looks nothing like Al Yankovic, but that's okay, and we love him. You show me the picture that we have of this, that we can show it to everybody. This is from Variety. So Daniel Radcliffe doesn't look anything like Al Yankovic. It looks like Harry Potter with a curly wig and a mustache. But look how much, Lauren, Evan Rachel Wood looks exactly like 1980s Madonna. It is uncanny.
And it makes me so happy. Like, I want to go see the show just because, like, that takes me back to my childhood and, like, wonderful, entertaining music that was
I forgot. You're like a big Madonna head.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love her. She can do no wrong because anything that anyone considers wrong, she just owns it. And I loved that about her. She was just kind of like, yeah, okay, and? And I was like, okay, great. I love her.
I distinctly remember this would have been like me in 9th grade and you in 11th grade when you drove me to school. We went to the same high school. You drove me to school every day. And all you had in your CD player was
the Immaculate
Collection.
Yep.
So against my will, I now have like the same 13 Madonna songs memorized from listening to them consecutively for a 180-day school year. Like I can do La Isla Bonita like straight through from memory. It's and so, but yeah, the first thing I thought of was just like, oh my God, Evan Rachel Wood looks so much like Madonna in this. And
Is
I
that
can't
just
wait
like
to
a
see this.
still shot like that? I haven't seen the whole. I saw it in the distance, but I haven't like watched the intro. Does she? I mean, we haven't.
She's
seen
got
the
it
movie
down.
yet, but she's got it.
The voice, the mannerisms, it's really something to behold. You get Rainn Wilson as Dr. Demento, and that's pretty entertaining as well. Just fantastic. We got another trailer that is a callback to a prior episode. The loyal viewers and listeners of Break the Business might remember a few months back when we had announced that they were making a horror movie version of Winnie the Pooh called Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey because, and you're probably saying like, why, how would Disney ever allow Winnie the Pooh to get made into a horror movie? And the answer is there's nothing they can do about it. Winnie the Pooh is entering the public domain, or I believe entered the public domain this year. And so now that character is free to be thrown into whatever movie these crazy people can think of. And one person had the idea of, how about a horror slasher flick with Winnie the Pooh and Piglet? And we saw a still image from that a few months back. Do you have that image again? Can you pull it up?
I do, but I don't want
It's so scary. Absolute nightmare fuel. But
Like,
at the
I get
time,
it, but why are you intentionally trying to kill children's like dreams? Like that was something that was just happy. Like not again, like I was mentioning before, the animatrons were like they were kind of creepy even when we were kids. But Winnie the Pooh was not creepy.
no.
Like I was not freaked out by him and it needed to be turned into a horror film. Like you're intentionally trying to make something awesome creepy.
I was all for this. When we first broke this story a few months ago, I'm a huge public domain advocate. I've gone on record saying that copyright duration should be a lot shorter than they are. Great art builds upon the work that came before it. If you want great art, you need to let the prior art get into the public domain sooner. And so I generally celebrate when things get into the public domain. But then I saw the trailer for this movie that came out this week. And Lauren, I think we need permanent copyrights now. I think we need perpetual copyrights now. That film, Lauren, I saw Winnie the Pooh snap a teenage girl's neck like a twig.
Why?
Because the premise of this movie is that Christopher Robin left Winnie the Pooh in 100 Acre Wood, and Winnie the Pooh went feral and wild and became a serial killer. And so this whole movie is Winnie the Pooh and Piglet going on a killing rampage, just massacring people. It is frightening.
But we're leaving canon now, okay? Because we've already watched the follow-up movie where Christopher Robin left Winnie the Pooh in the woods and he came out looking for him in the big city and came back and they had to find all the lost little characters that were no longer there because he had been left. We've already gotten this part of the story. So now how come he's going psycho and killing all the children?
I'm with you. It is really hard to reconcile the Ewan McGregor movie that came out recently with Winnie the Pooh, which is sort of one twist on, what happened when Christopher Robin forgot about Winnie the Pooh, with this other version where Christopher Robin forgets about Winnie the Pooh so long that Winnie the Pooh and Piglet become feral, sadistic serial killers. And the trailer is legit horrifying. I don't think we should have a public domain anymore. You people clearly can't be trusted with it. All of y'all, you're on notice. Ugh.
See, and I'm going, oh gosh, this is terrible. And then my brain's like, so this weekend I'm going to Halloween Horror Nights. How long do you think it's going to be before Pooh and Piglet make their way into a house? I'm going to officially be the character of Demon Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, bother.
Yeah.
Okay. And now
So just for the record, we're recording this at the end of August and covering a whole lot of Halloween horror. Just putting that
it's
out
Halloween creep. In 10 years when we're doing this podcast, we're going to be breaking down Halloween in February. That's how this works. The callback of the callbacks that I'm most excited about is actually a live human that we get to talk to. A few months ago, we got to hang out with one of my favorite people in the music industry, Bill Bolden, known professionally as Down Upright. And I basically told Bill, and I've been telling Bill for years, whenever you have anything going on, come by and talk to us about it, because the stuff you do is so interesting and indie creators can learn so much from it that you just have a standing invitation, door wide open. Whatever segments we have planned, we're tossing them aside because we want to talk to you, and this week is no exception. Let's bring Bill out. Bill, how are you?
We get a phone call and we say, come on
That's
in.
exactly right.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Ryan and Lauren.
Excited to be talking to you again. For the uninitiated, Bill is a Buffalo-based DJ, producer, and tech entrepreneur. Their latest project is, and I love the way you title these things, Bill, We're Doomed, We're Dancing. It is a 60-song album of tracks that changes genres and vocalists every 60 seconds. It's going to feature the performances of over 40 collaborators. You are currently about to start a Kickstarter campaign for this album, and you all can find out more about it by visiting tinyurl.com/downupright. One of my favorite things to ask you whenever you get one of these new projects, because they're all so interesting and not like what anyone else is doing, is how'd you come up with this? So for We're Doomed, We're Dancing, how'd you come up with this?
Well, it came from a couple places. One is I used to have a stunt I did as a DJ called the Lightning Mix, where I would see how many songs I could mix in 1 hour. And my record was somewhere around 70. 70 songs crammed into 1 hour. And so that kind of got me in the habit of thinking about moving through tracks very quickly. The other thing I was noticing was that my average track length of the tracks I produce kept coming down and down. Like EDM already is sort of a stretch where you sort of do a verse and then a drop. And then you've sort of done it already and you're obligated because of EDM rules to kind of do the verse again and then do the drop, but slightly different. But it's like, what if you took away all the pretense? What if you just made your point and got out of the way? And so my songs were beginning to go down from 4 minutes to 3 minutes to 2 minutes. And so I began to see the 1 minute frontier as a new goal. Like, how can I make my point in 60 seconds, get off it, and then get on to a different genre for a change of pace?
And the idea that, but it's not just you with every track, because you're bringing in all these different collaborators. So every 60 seconds, you are it's almost like whiplash, like just a completely new experience for the listener from one track to another. And it's crazy fast pace.
I've been working on some of these transitions, and you'll be able to hear them when the Kickstarter goes live on Tuesday. There's a whole bunch of sample transitions in the pitch video. But you can be listening to a soul song, and all of a sudden, now it's bam, it's a classic rock song just like that. And there's somebody else singing, and it's like a brand new classic rock production. And then now it's dubstep, and it works. You know, that's the amazing thing about it, is that it all works.
Well, if you're doing it, I'm inclined to think it works.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about Kickstarter and how you always seem to like to come back to it as your platform of choice, not just for fundraising for your albums, because I get the vibe that you tend to see Kickstarter not just as a fundraising tool, but as a marketing tool. The Kickstarter campaign for you raises awareness for the project. It gets people excited about it. It builds momentum towards your goals. And as I see a lot of creators almost forgetting about Kickstarter because it's been around for a while and there are other crowdfunding platforms that exist, you stay loyal to it and you seem to get a lot out of it. So talk a little bit about why you like Kickstarter and what you get out of using this platform.
Well, the way I like to think about it is that there's 3 Kickstarters I've done, of which We're Doomed, We're Dancing is the 3rd now, and we'll see how that goes. But the first 2 were explorations of what's possible by releasing music that's bigger than the box. So a lot of music Kickstarters are an exchange of money for a promise of digital or physical media. Hey, we're trying to raise $10,000 to make our album. When you back, you are going to get a vinyl copy of the album. Okay, that's all well and good. But I look for things that the Kickstarter as the medium can become part of the message and part of the product. Like with my old project, Music to Die Alone in Space 2, which is back from when I used to be Spruik, where I was able to raise $25,000 on the premise of an album that would be re-recorded individually for every person who purchased it.
Right.
That is
was
only
cool.
possible in the context of a Kickstarter, because you need to collect all those pre-orders and see ahead of time, get this massive sunk cost for all the time you're going to be spending recording all the copies. It really isn't possible without a Kickstarter. You can't just go release Music to Die Alone in Space 2 on Spotify. It had to be the way it was. And now with We're Doomed, We're Dancing, the hook is that it's actually going to be a very democratic project. All the backers are going to be involved in polls and surveys determining what genres things head into next. So I'll put up a track and say, here's one of the tracks from the album. What happens next? Y'all vote on it. And if y'all tell me to make a reggaeton track, it's going to be reggaeton. And if y'all tell me to make a vaporwave track, it's going to be vaporwave. If y'all tell me to make a nightcore track, it's going to be nightcore. I lead where the crowd follows. And so it's going to be a democratically produced album.
You are putting a lot of faith in the internet. This is the same internet that, like, when they do a poll being like, name what we're going to call this boat, and 90% of the audience says Boaty McBoatface. These are the people that you are entrusting for the musical curation of your album. You're going to get 60 minutes of Gregorian chant.
No, he's going to get Dancy McDance Mix because people are going to do whatever they want.
I can't wait to see where it leads. Probably the coolest thing, and again, something that's only possible on Kickstarter, is there's a tier called the co-pilot tier, where you get to sit in a Zoom with me and set the theme and title and genre for one of the 60 tracks yourself. So you can actually come away with a sense of ownership, like that track 23 is the track that I had the idea for. And I'm going to need your help drawing up a release for that.
Because they are the collaboration on it. Are they collaborators? Right.
Happy to help. I mean, what a sweet gig to be a part even in a small way in one of these projects. This is cool. I'm hoping that as people listen to this, Bill, that some of these young artists that think they got everything figured out and there's nothing that the platforms of old can do for them, I'm thinking some of them might come back to our good old friend Kickstarter, which has been, perhaps the millennial platform of choice for a lot of great artists. So for those viewers and listeners who are like, I like this as a fundraising platform, I want to learn more about Kickstarter and maybe learn how to be great at it. Do you have any advice for the uninitiated on how to create a good Kickstarter campaign?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I absolutely do. First, have your idea marinating for a while before you launch, because all eyes are on you and there's no going back. So I struggle sometimes with mood swings. And one of my rules for when I'm having a mood swing is no launching Kickstarters, no having the next big idea. I need to work on something consistently for about 6 months and really have the capacity to have been steadily interested for about 6 solid months. Then you have to figure out what your hook is. Why is it different than give us 10 grand and we will ship you a vinyl? What's the hook? What are you doing differently because it's a Kickstarter? A great example is this band Rainbow Kittens did a Kickstarter called Gumbotron that was composed.
I love everything about it so far.
Yeah, Rainbow Kittens and Gumbotron. It was an album composed entirely out of samples provided by the backers. So when you backed this Kickstarter, you also got to contribute a sample of you beatboxing or singing or belching or something, and the album is in the end made out of all those samples.
Oh, wow.
It's really performance art.
Yeah.
In a way. The medium is the message.
Right.
Yeah. I think
so.
There's something you've really taught me, Bill, is Kickstarter works at its best when you see it transcend a mere fundraising platform and see it as a marketing platform, or in your case, part of the actual medium and the deliverable, the mechanism by which you help to create and curate these projects. When it can reach that purpose, you're really creating like an art through your Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's not separable from the art that is created. Music to Die Alone in Space 2 couldn't have been a conventional album, nor could Pieces. And We're Doomed, We're Dancing is sort of really an experiment in a democratic music project. And yes, I fully expect to get trolled. But the real challenge is I will make lemonade out of lemons. Trust me. I can mix almost anything if I have to. I'll find a way to make those Gregorian chants flow directly into terrorcore.
I feel like you know what, Lauren? Let's make a note. Break the Business needs to kick Bill some funding so we can get our Gregorian chant song in there.
Heck yeah. So do I want to ask, what is the tier to get to sit down with you and be your co-creator on a song to help you pick the genre and all that stuff? What is that tier?
That tier is called the co-pilot tier, and it is
Okay.
$100.
$100 to be on his album with him.
Might be worth it for.
We might pick our Break the Business track. We can handle that.
Absolutely. Of course. That's so cool. So let's talk about the budgeting on a Kickstarter, because I think this is where there's so much maneuvering that has to take place, and it could be kind of a tricky game. So let's say you're one of these artists that's actually trying to fully fund their album or whatever their project, their thing is on Kickstarter. Like, you don't necessarily do that. Sometimes, you self-fund some of it and you only need a portion of it from the campaign. But for an artist that's looking to like really fund everything from the Kickstarter campaign, it's a tricky game, because if you set that number too high, you don't reach your funding goal and then you get nothing. But if you set that number too low, you get the opposite problem, which is now you have to fund something and you may not have enough money to fund it. So do you have any advice on how somebody can effectively budget? Maybe with the idea that, like, for one thing, you're not going to want to just budget the cost of the thing in there. Maybe you also want to budget the cost to, say, fulfill your prizes to your backers.
Yes. So you can use what are called stretch goals, and you can use add-ons. So when a person backs, they can choose that they want the cassette and the vinyl. And then you have a stretch goal where that unlocks. So once I've raised $6,000, that unlocks the vinyl tier, because a minimum vinyl run of like 100 or 200 vinyls, which is the smallest you can go, is going to be about $2,000. So you need to comfortably get past that $2,000 mark to start getting, unlocking the vinyl tier. You also have to take into account legal costs, because you need a talented lawyer. I happen to know one who can draw up the crazy releases you'll need for all the different artists you're going to be involving and copyright your finished work. Kickstarter itself takes a 5% fee of the finished total. And
so you got to
then
bake that into there too.
And then there's marketing costs, because, the whole idea of this is I want it to succeed. So I've set a goal for We're Doomed, We're Dancing of $1,000, because if I can get $1,000 worth of people interested, I'm doing this. It's worth doing. And I'll, eat the rest of the costs that I'm paying my collaborators and buying vocalists and buying guitarists. I've always self-funded my music, but if I can make, a couple $1,000s, then that justifies bringing in some bigger names, getting more ambitious with the featured artists. And it helps justify a little marketing spend, because if I get past a few $1,000s, maybe I can buy an Instagram ad campaign where I can show everybody a sample video of what the project is going to be and get more interest that way, where people are like, oh, I heard this, now I'm interested. And then that can beget more money. So you really have to get all your ducks in a row. But it's just unpredictable. I never expected Music to Die Alone in Space to sell 310 copies of individually recorded albums. And it was a runaway success, that I was only partially able to replicate with my second Kickstarter pieces. So will this raise $1,000? Will it raise 10,000? I'm just here for the ride.
Right on. As are all of the folks viewing and listening right now. I encourage y'all to check out tinyurl.com/downupright. You can check out the Kickstarter as soon as it goes live. Do we have the go live date yet, or is that still under wraps?
No, it goes live Tuesday, September 6th.
Outstanding. Looking forward to it. So by the time most folks hear this, it will be almost up and running. It'll be up and running later in the week. Excited for it. Whenever I get a chance to have you on, Bill, I know it is woefully underutilizing you if I don't also take the opportunity to talk to you a bit about just the business and tech side of this industry, because I'm sort of tech illiterate about these things, so I know I can count on folks like you. Last time we had you on the show a few months ago, we had you talk a bit about your thoughts on NFTs in the music business. 6 months ago, NFTs were all the rage. People were very bullish on what it could mean for the industry. And I think there are still plenty of people who are bullish about NFTs in music, but we are starting to see a little bit of backlash as well. There have been companies emerging that are basically just infringing folks' copyrights, taking artists' music, stealing their likenesses and then just saying, and thinking it's all okay if they call it an NFT. And there's a bunch of apes out there. I don't know what they do, but it seems like they're these apes. Then they're worth $300,000, and then your ape is worth like 10 cents. And so now that there's been kind of 6 months and we're seeing like different views emerge about NFTs, wanted to come back and see what you're thinking of the current NFT landscape in music right now.
So I'm in the same place I was 6 months ago, which is bearish, because I still do not see a strong value proposition for the listener and the consumer, other than being able to point at a plaque on the wall and say, I own that, for some value of the word own, which is the problem with NFTs in their present form. They're a fascinating database concept, and I can actually see a lot of uses, especially in fintech, where I think it's going to, for instance, revolutionize the debt servicing industry. Trading around people's debt like an NFT probably doesn't lead to good things, probably leads to bad things, but those are an excellent use case for NFTs. In this case, I still can't see demonstrated value to the listener, where a person who wants to listen to your music and hear a song can say, now because it's an NFT, I can also XYZ with it. We still haven't turned over that rock yet. And I'll be the first to admit that we just may not have thought of it yet. Because if the unlockable is like, now you get parts of the royalties to that song, or now you get the ability to unlock it as a custom victory music in Fortnite or something, then the benefit's there. But until there's more than just this nebulous ownership concept, it's not really being demanded by the listeners yet.
I'm with you on this. I do see the potential, if not in just NFTs in the abstract, but say blockchain and what it could mean in the legal space about creating smart contracts and getting royalties paid out faster to artists. And if you can attach the NFT to some kind of value add, like concert tickets or exclusive meet and greets or things like that, my fear is that so many of these bad actors who've gotten into the music NFT space are going to poison the well so bad that we may never get to the stuff where blockchain, NFT, that kind of stuff can actually create real value for musicians and music fans in the industry. And so I'm hoping we can kind of sweep away this dreck and get to the good stuff about what this technology and what these innovations can provide for all of us.
Yeah, I think that we have to get away from the era of rug pulls before we can seriously talk about ways this could transform music. Right now, if you look at an industry and say 95% of it is scams, that really is sort of a death sentence for the remaining 5% that isn't scams and is legitimate, because they're in such poor company. Then sleep with dogs, wake up with fleas, they say.
Yeah.
So we need to rehabilitate the industry, and I don't know if it will take to that and if the scammers will stop coming. If it can, maybe we find the golden ticket for a way NFT truly does benefit the listener down the road. But right now, I'm still bearish.
Our guest is Bill Down Upright Bolden. Check out Bill's upcoming Kickstarter project for the album We're Doomed, We're Dancing by visiting tinyurl.com/downupright. Bill, before we let you go, let me just ask you this quick one before we go to break here. You got any last tips for the indie creators out there to help move their careers forward?
Think outside the box. There's the current figure is over 60,000 tracks are uploaded to Spotify every day.
Oh.
It's hard to stand out. If you can be more than the music, if you can offer people a chance to be part of a project that's bigger than just a song or an album, you can really stand out and make a name for yourself.
Love it. Bill, thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Thanks so much for having me, Ryan.
We'll be right back on Break the Business.
Ryan Kairalla here. I hope you're enjoying the show, and I hope that you're getting a lot out of it. I do what I do because I care about creators like you. A lot. I've dedicated my career to helping creative professionals, entrepreneurs, and organizations move forward. I do it by hosting this program, and I'm also proud to do it in my legal practice. If you're a creative professional looking for solutions-oriented legal services to help you further your goals, I'd love to help. My firm RKPA does contracts, commercial law, copyright, trademark, and more. Visit rkpalaw.com to learn more. That's rkpalaw.com. Ryan A. Kairalla, PA, Miami, Florida.
Streaming services for Break the Business provided by LEK Entertainment. LEK Entertainment is a full-service entertainment company offering everything from consultations to full-scale events and productions, including audio and video productions, voiceovers, staged theatrical productions, script and music development, and streaming services. For more information, visit lekentertainment.com. LEK Entertainment wants to help you bring your story to life.
Thanks for supporting Break the Business. If you have a question or topic that you want us to discuss, email us at breakthebusiness@gmail.com. You can follow the host, that's me, on Twitter at Ryan Kair, and you can follow the show at the BTB Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the show on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, and on all major podcast platforms. And now, let's get back to the show.
Welcome back to Break the Business, everybody. Thank you for checking us out, wherever you're checking us out. There's so many places to check us out. I'm going to go ahead and say it. There's probably too many places to check us out. But one of those places is SiriusXM 145, and we are very happy for that place. They have been very, very kind to us. Thank you, Slam Radio. Also, you can check us out on all major podcast platforms, all the streaming platforms, and wherever you're checking us out, whatever your platform of choice, we are happy to have you here. You know what? I'm getting excited for football season. Can I just say that? Since Slam Radio is mainly a sports talk radio station, I'll do a little obligatory sports talk here. I'm very excited for football season. University of Miami football starts this Saturday as I bring this up. We're playing Bethune-Cookman. That's probably a W, but I'm just excited for football and what it means. And I'm thinking a lot about football because we're actually going to be joined next week by Mike Ryan Ruiz of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz. You all might remember, you loyal listeners, about 5 months ago, we had JT Daly on the show to talk about The Big Game. That was an album that he worked on with the Dan Le Batard Show, a musical theater album about the Super Bowl featuring all the hosts of the Dan Le Batard Show. And now Mike Ryan Ruiz, the executive producer of that show of Meadowlark Media, is going to come by next week for a drop-in to tell us more about the project and the fact that they're going to submit it for the Grammy Awards. That's pretty cool. We've had already 2 Grammy winners on Break the Business historically. Love to have a third. That'd be pretty cool. All right. Speaking of stuff that's pretty cool, I'm excited for this guest. He is an actor, recording artist, and Second City trained comedian who is well known for his satirical and controversial music videos. His latest hair metal-inspired video, Abandon, is available now on YouTube, and you can find out more about our guest's work by visiting www.jeffhilliard.tv. We are happy to welcome Jeff Hilliard on to Break the Business. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
Excited to be chatting with you. Doing great, feeling great. I have been spending the good part of the week just equal parts just laughing and being blown away by your music video catalog, Jeff. Excited to talk to you all about your projects. But first, kind of want to know about this Second City background that you work on. I know, Lauren, you're a big fan of Second City up in Chicago, and obviously some of the great comedic minds coming out of there. Do you have any cool Second City stories?
I mean, okay, so there was a confusion in an interview. I did Second City in Los Angeles. I went to their conservatory in 1999. It was the first year. Derek Waters, who did Drunk History, was there the same time I was. Walker Wheeler Jr., who's Ben Hoffman, who had the Ben Hoffman Show. He does a satirical country act. This guy Simon, who's on that massive show, Big Bang Theory. I can't remember his last name right now. There's a bunch of people.
Helberg.
Yes, he's brilliant, hilarious. There's a ton of people that I did Second City with. I was a stand-up comic as well. I did that for about 8 years. So I've worked with every comedian you can imagine way back in the day. And then I don't know if I have any, there's nothing real crazy. I had really cool teachers. We did a bunch of shows. I did it for a couple of years, and it was a really wonderful experience. And then I've been doing the same nonsense. It was kind of as a child, that's what I was doing anyway. I'd go to school doing weird characters every day as a weirdo, because I either wanted to be on Saturday Night Live or be in Van Halen. And that's where we're at now.
So you just kind of took your two big childhood dreams, threw them in like a salad shaker, and now you are where you are, making these kind of SNL style, really well done music videos. Because here's the thing, there are plenty of folks online who are making music videos with comedic elements. That is well trodden ground. But what I tell people kind of separates Jeff Hilliard is how ambitious your video projects are. I was, the one for Abandon that you have coming out, or the video you made for the song Consensual.
Thank you.
These things are really ambitious productions. The production values, the actors you're bringing in, the lighting, the set, the production design. These are pretty serious video projects. They're basically short films.
Right.
And, kind of what sort of drove you to create something that isn't just a good song or isn't just a video, but kind of a film quality comedy music video?
Years ago, I was waiting for technology to get to a point where I could make something look like a cinematic film. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. A long time ago, I wanted to do, comedy. People wouldn't put a lot into art direction and stuff. And so I'm a director. I directed all of these, and then I'm kind of doing the whole thing. I'm art directing them. I wanted to do stuff that's way better than a music label would do. I want to do something better than. I want people to watch one of my videos and their head literally explodes. That's the goal. And so they are ambitious, but the thing is, I'm trying to make like evergreen material, a thing that 20 years from now, someone will look at it and be like, wow, it'll age well. And I think it's a responsibility as a creator, as an artist, or whatever you want to call yourself, is if you're going to have someone's attention, blow them away. So I've always tried to make the best quality thing I could. Sometimes it would take me a year to make one of these, opposed to the life of just put out as much content as you can, posting like what you eat every day or what have you. I'm trying to make art, I guess. I'm kind of a nerd.
I would agree with your assessment that these are better. Your videos are better in terms of the quality than what you would see produced even by a major record label. What it kind of reminds me of in terms of the ambition and the production design is the way that they used to make music videos in the 90s, like back when the budgets were just stratospherically high. You like Michael Jackson would get like $1 million to make the Scream music video or something like that. These days, if an artist wants to put $150K into a music video, you better be Justin Bieber, because like the budgets are smaller.
His videos are like $1 million. They're big artists, are huge. So my goal is to make something better with them on a fraction of what they made it for. So like the Consensual video cost me like $20,000. Some of my videos, exactly. It's my go fuck yourself, sorry for the language, to all of Hollywood, and I'm doing stuff better than they could ever dream of. I'm sorry if I'm coming across like an arrogant, crazy person, but I live in the land of fevered egos and people making the lamest, terrible stuff ever, the most bloated things you've ever seen, that you're actually insulted. You're like, why am I witnessing this? So my goal is to, like, I'm Michael Jordan, and I'm just like dunking on all of them in a nice fashion.
Jeff, when you tell me that you made the Consensual music video for $20,000, I literally don't believe you. You fought a dragon in that video, Jeff.
Well, that video with the special effects, I worked with this brilliant guy who co-directed with me, whose name's Joey Danger, and he's a special effects wizard. And that video would have cost me like $350,000 to make. He's doing a film, a feature film. He's having me play a main character in it, and he was pitching that to me. Apparently, he's been a fan of mine for many years. I sent him the song because that's what I was working on next. He loved it, and we decided, let's work on this together. We worked on it for 5 months. But I don't know how many of my videos you've seen, but if you saw the video Finger Bang Your Day, that cost me about $3,000 to make. That's because I have a brilliant cinematographer I've been working with now for 15, 16 years. And a lot of these videos are literally just me and my cinematographer, because we do kind of everything. You know, it's like two guys who know how to do all the stuff. So if you went to one of our sets, you would just be like me and a dude with a camera. And sometimes we have an assistant or what have you, and the actors. So we do really small. I can go fast, and we can just shoot way quicker and more stuff than if I had a massive production.
And did I hear that you've entered your videos in film festivals before, right?
Yes. I did the last 3 music videos. I have 2 more that I'll enter into film festivals yet, and they've done all extremely well. It's been a lot of fun. I just won the Holly Shorts Film Festival for Best Music Video, which I'm blown away, because I go to these festivals, and now we're in an age of an overcorrection. So it's a lot of this very woke. I guess I don't identify as a man anymore, but someone would look at me and think I'm a straight white male that's pushing 50. So the fact that I win anything and get in there, I feel like these videos must be amazing, because they're not really because it's all the awards are going to the wokest of the woke project.
Hey, I'm
excited.
You have a whole song celebrating consensual, that's
yes.
like that's super progressive, man. Like, of course that's going to be celebrated by Hollywood.
I hope so. It's making fun of a lot of things. It's basically a creep who's adapted all of their terminology, but he's still a creep, even though he's got all the language down.
Yeah, that is.
Are you in Los Angeles? Have you ever been to Topanga Canyon? Like, these people exist. That character, I must have got 100 messages from women. They're like, I actually know this person. I've encountered this person.
Oh man, that's wild. And we've had lots of musicians on the show who have created music video projects and rely on the music video medium as a way to promote their music, get more people going to music, or just promoting themselves as an artist. You're the first one I've talked to who almost sounds to me, without putting words in your mouth, that you really do see the music video as the end product. Like, you are trying to create these amazing pieces of art that stand on their own, because you're the only musician I know that actually enters their music videos into film festivals. Like, this is a film quality thing that you want the established film community to recognize on its merit.
Yeah, I want people in the entertainment industry to see this, that are filmmakers, and be bummed out. I want them to be angry with me and be like, who the F is this person? You understand, I've been out here for a long time. I did a video that was very popular for me called The Good Life. It's an amazing music video. It was I got really skinny for it. The character's like a homeless meth addict crackhead, and people wouldn't know that it was me. They thought I went and casted a homeless person, and a television executive would show it to people. This is years ago. Things have changed a little bit, but people couldn't understand that I sang the song, I wrote the lyrics, I'm acting it, and I'm directing it. She goes, people don't understand it. You're just too talented. And I'm like, do you remember Charlie Chaplin? Do you remember him? He would write it. He would direct it. He would act, you know what I mean? Yeah. But now it's kind of changed because of like TikTok and all these people. Everyone is now doing their own thing. So to me, and as anyone who's a creative person, it's a fight. You're in a literal fight to get stuff made, to get stuff done, to get people to see it. So I'm trying to win. That's all I want to do in life, is I want to win. I want to make the best, highest quality entertainment that's hilarious. I want to make the most brilliant satire as far as my genre of music videos the world's ever seen. If you're going to do it, man, you got to go for it.
I cannot think of more profound advice to impart to the viewers and listeners checking this out. Like, take big swings.
Who's listening to me and being like, that's what I got to do? No, but if you're going to do something, you want to be the best, right? I mean, why wouldn't you? Like, you're wasting anyone's time. So I'm trying to make the greatest music video the world's ever seen. That's my goal in life.
I love it. I
the greatest
dig that.
Song, the greatest video.
Well, and that's the thing, because it's not just the videos, right? It's your songs too. I think the songs are really well produced. And
Lee Miles, I worked with Lee Miles. I got to say these guys' names because they get upset if I don't. Lee Miles, brilliant music producer. He helps write the songs with me. I write probably 98% of the lyrics. He gets a few in. That's okay. But without him, I wouldn't get it made. Okay. He's also knows how to make me sound amazing, recording my vocals. I have a vocal coach in Los Angeles who's brilliant. Her name is Anastasia, and none of this would be possible without her. And my co conspirator, brilliant genius is my DP John Orphan, who is like my Keith Richards. Me and him have been doing this for a long time. I met him. I made a music video for the band Chevelle. I made 2 of them. And it was called I Get It. And it was it premiered on MTV2. I was told it was one of the most played music videos that year. I got to make a follow-up music video. And that's where I met John Orphan. I ran into him randomly on the street. We talked we went out to eat for 4 hours about life. And at the end, I showed him the music video I made. And he was like, I'm going to shoot all your stuff. So that's how all that happened as far as those characters in my life. And why they're so good is because there's a lot of people in Hollywood that work on all these terrible commercial things, and they want to do something that's fun. They want to do something that's cool. And all the people that have worked with me have told me that they've gotten so much work from our projects. And these people are working on sometimes discounted rates. Sometimes they're doing it for nothing, half what they would normally get paid or a fraction of that. But it ends up getting them all sorts of work. So I've always had people like, how do you get these actors and stuff to be in it? And I'm like, most of them all have pitched me to be in the videos, and I like using really talented people that aren't super famous. So you can go into these worlds and it's more realistic.
That makes sense.
That's what I'm into.
And that definitely comes across in the videos that you're putting together because it's not one of these things where you're putting a lot of money in the production design and then your actors aren't up to the skill of the budget. Like you have great actors in your video that get sort of what you're doing satirically and things like that. I'm with you. That's terrific.
Well, the best thing about them all is everyone there is excited to be there. Everyone's having fun. It's like a bunch of kids screwing around, and that's what makes it work. And I won't have anybody on there. If there's any weirdness at all before we do it, then I get somebody else. Like people are there to do something awesome, and we're going out and killing it, and we do it.
It's the best kind of creative environment when you have people that. Right? Where you're goofing around, where everybody's having a good time. That's where the creativity comes and blooms. So I'm with you on that. I've always wanted to ask somebody who makes comedic or satirical songs this question. And is the audio production process, is the songwriting process different in the comedy or satire field than if you were making, say, traditional rock or pop music?
That's a really good question. I'm going to start work. I'm not going to say his name, but I'm going to be working with one of the top music producers in the world. He's a fan of mine. He told me, I told this to a girlfriend, and she was like, she didn't maybe understand at first, but I go, what I'm doing is more challenging than the music you're listening to, because you're just writing a story. It's more difficult actually to make something that's funny, and satire is the highest form of humor. And he told me, he goes, look, what you're doing is like 3-dimensional. Doing like a pop song or whatever, it's like a 1-dimensional, maybe 2-dimensional. So I'm going to dumb myself down, and I want to hopefully become one of the most prolific songwriters ever, so I control the entire world with some of the most horrific pop songs they've ever heard. Because I've been in a casino, I've been in an elevator, and I'm listening to this song as if like a 12-year-old was the DJ, and this is what the world wants. And I think of, a 12-year-old could write these songs. I mean, they're not that sophisticated. So hopefully that'll evolve into me trolling the planet with some of the most amazing pop songs you've ever heard.
I have never met a creator who is more fueled by unbridled contempt for their industry.
I'm at that point. I'm at that point now. I just think it's funny. Well, I've had some fun.
It's a powerful motivator,
That dude, people have built empires on it, and I'm trying to embrace it. True. I will put out a video. I will have celebrities message me how it's one of this one's your best, and I'll ask them. I go, will you share it with your audience? Will you tweet it? Will you do this? Will you do that? The same response every time. They disappear. So yes, I have contempt. I have a lot. I'm at war. Forget that guy in Ukraine. I'm in the real war. I'm in the creative war to make great stuff for people to enjoy, opposed to all this terrible stuff that they're watching. They're watching like these reality shows, the Bachelor. I don't even know what people watch, but it's all bad.
Man, I kind of don't want to get on your bad side now, just because I would hate for your next project to be some like anti-music industry podcast thing, and then like you're playing me in a video and no,
I actually, if I was not doing what I do, I could have a business as a professional troll destroying people. It'd be I would never do that. I'm actually a very decent, lovely person. Unless you mess with me, I will mirror you back to yourself, which is one of my favorite things to do.
Oh my God.
I've been doing that my whole life.
That is a frightening prospect.
But I am a champion of people. I love kindred spirits. I don't have any like real enemies. I do have some frenemies, which I love. That is why I kind of like. I wouldn't go to any of these film festivals. For example, my sister's husband is weirdly competitive with me. So I specifically go to these film festivals if I can, just to get a photograph on the step and repeat to post it on my Instagram and Facebook and stuff, because I know it bothers him.
And you tag him in there?
No, I don't tag him in there, but like he came to visit with my nieces and nephews, and they were asking, or my nieces, I'm sorry, they asked to hear what my next song was, and I play it for him, and then he starts talking over it, and asked my girlfriend about a painting in her house. And I was like, oh, this is the most brilliant. I loved it. It's like the most brilliant passive aggressive thing I've ever seen. Talking over why they're trying to listen to the song. And I was like, God, I love this. So that fuels me. Yes. This is what I'm into.
Oh my God.
I don't know why. I'm like, I'm on your team. You're the father of my sister's kids. I'm here to support you. I don't know.
You can find out more about our guest's hilarious, incisive, and spite-fueled work by visiting Jeff.
I got to be interesting.
TV.
I got to be nuts on these things, or no one's going to check it out.
Oh my God! Well, mission accomplished. I can assure you, Jeff. This has been illuminating, and I've very much enjoyed this conversation. One last question before we let you go, and I gotta say, I'm a little apprehensive to pose our final question to you, because I have no idea where you're going to take this.
Hopefully somewhere good.
Do you have any last tips for the indie creators out there to help them move their careers forward?
Boy, it's a weird time. I think I would get an OnlyFans page and do songs while you're actively having sex with someone that's important. I think that's the only way you make it, and you got to do something that's going to work. What? I don't know. I'm not even successful myself. Like, what do I know? If I had the answers, I would probably be doing it. And I would do that, but no one wants to see me having sex, for God's sakes.
Lauren, did I not say I was afraid to ask this question?
Oh, Ryan,
you set that up. I had to give a good answer, right?
I was waiting. Like I was taking the time. I was like, man, I'm waiting for the reference. It's coming. It hasn't come yet, but it's coming. and now I just made the reference by saying that. So I'll start.
I like that.
And Lauren, who sees that I'm clearly drowning, is of no help because she's too busy laughing her ass off at my misfortune in the green room.
Yeah.
See, Jeff, whereas you are filled by spite and contempt for your industry, my sister producer Lauren is fueled by me being uncomfortable.
I love it.
So.
Well, listen,
just good content in general. Good content. It could be. It could be.
And me being uncomfortable is always good content.
I wouldn't have spite if I was given love. I've just been rejected over and over again. So instead of me pandering to them, my message to them is go fuck yourself. I'm going to do stuff better than you'd ever dream of. How you like them apples? Can you swear on your show?
I'm
really
going
sorry.
to create.
I mean, no, but we're over an hour in at this point.
No, yeah.
That's I mean, we usually can get away with one, but you burned your one about 20 minutes ago. You can again find out more by visiting. And by the way, when people check out your content, like F-bombs are the least of what you do.
It's good stuff.
Oh, for sure. Again, find out more by visiting JeffHilliard.tv. We love you, Jeff. So be
Thank
fueled by our love.
Yes.
If
I really
you,
appreciate you having me. Oh, you should see right now. I'm in a film. I'm starring in a film called Traveling Light, that's in the AMC theaters. It's directed by Bernard Rose, who did Immortal Beloved, Candyman. It stars Tony Todd, who's brilliant, Danny Houston, Stephen Dorff, Matthew Jacobs. It's an amazing cast. We shot it over the pandemic. It came out at Beyond Fest. The guy who was the coordinator of the whole film festival said it's the best film that was made that year. It's a great film to see. It's something you should check out.
That's
It's
wonderful.
a dark satire.
Congratulations on that for sure.
Thank you.
right on, Jeff.
And
Jeff.
it's an independent film, okay? Not
All
a
right.
studio film.
So we're rightfully celebrating it. Jeff, thanks so much for being on this week.
Thanks for having me. I really
All right,
appreciate
and
it.
thank you all for checking out Break the Business. Our guest next week is going to be Lawrence Purrier, the Chief Commercial Officer of music ticketing technology platform Light. I am sure
we're
that
special
interview will
guest.
be just as controversial as the one we just did. And yes, Mike Ryan Ruiz from the Levitard Show will also be joining us next week for a drop-in. It's going to be great. It's going to be
I'm
great.
excited.
This
I
one
miss
was
you guys
fun.
already.
Next week's going to be fun. Lauren, thanks to you for producing this week, and our thanks to Jeff Hilliard and Bill Down Upright Bolden for joining us. Thanks to all of you viewers and listeners for checking out Break the Business. See you next week.